Hello, friends and enemies. Several years ago, I was working at this apartment complex doing a make-ready. For those of you that don't know what a make-ready is getting a vacant apartment ready for people to move into it. And so it finally gets to be lunchtime, so I guess it's around 12 o'clock, and I leave to go out and get some lunch. And I was more or less about 30 minutes gone from the property. Then I returned and I parked my truck in front of the unit that I was working in, and I looked at the time on my cell phone and the time on my truck radio, and it was 4 o'clock in the afternoon that same day. So I normally listen to a program at 4 o'clock. So I turned the radio on and the program was on. And even the announcer said that it was 4 o'clock. And so I sat there in my vehicle listening to the program till a commercial came on. It's still I'm not feeling any different, like I can't remember telling myself, wow, this is weird. How could it have been 12 o'clock just like half an hour ago, and now it's 4 o'clock, but for some reason or another, I didn't feel strange in that way. So a commercial finally came on because I didn't want to miss any part of the program. And I said I'll continue listening to it in the apartment that I was working in. I had a radio in there that I was listening to music and talk show. So I went into the apartment and I turned on the radio, and it wasn't 4 o'clock anymore, or it wasn't 4:10 or 4:15, whatever. And so I looked at the time on my cell phone, and it was like 12:45. So I can't exactly remember the exact time. It was 12:45 or 12:40. So from the time that I got back to the property at about 12:30, then I sat in the vehicle for about 10 or 15 minutes listening to the program. Still my lunchtime, because I had an hour lunch. Then a commercial came on, and somehow I'm still thinking that it's like the 4 o'clock hour, and I go into the apartment to finish listening to the program, and the program is not on. And I look at the time, and it's 12:40 or 12:45. Then that's when I felt weird. So I just said, what the heck happened, So I actually went back to the truck to see if it was on there, and it wasn't, because time had traveled back to the normal time that I was supposed to be in. So 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I actually went somehow into the future 4 hours, give or take. So yeah, there's strange things that 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 happen. Also, a friend of mine told me that he was like, I don't know, 30 miles away from his house doing a job, and supposedly his wife and his brother-in-law saw him. Now this is not on the same day, this is a different day. But his wife and his brother-in-law saw my friend pass by where he lived in the same truck that he had, or that he has. They were waving at him, but somehow he did not acknowledge them. So when he was told by his wife and his brother-in-law that what was he doing there at, and it was like around 1 o'clock or 12 o'clock in the afternoon, and he said, that wasn't me. And at that time I was working like 20 or 30 miles away from here. That's what he said. And they said, no, it was you. You were in your truck. It was you. We know you. Says, no, it just wasn't me. So somehow, not only people, but also their vehicles and things can coexist in different dimensions or in different places at more than one time. So yeah, so there's strange things. I could say other stories, but I think I'll stop here. So yeah, so I'm not really sure what happened in my case. The only thing that I can say is that I somehow went into the future 3 or 4 hours. So thanks for listening. Believe less and think more. Yahweh bless.